Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional and simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser who helps families take practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organised home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. Every fortnight, I also share guest conversations with experts passionate about the future of our home, health and the planet. These conversations will provide you with actionable takeaways to create a more organised and happy life. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by Kathrin from Little Renters, a sustainable children's clothing rental business. She is going to be talking about circular fashion and why it's important, and she's also going to share some tips around how we can create sustainable choices for our children's wardrobe. This conversation is a video recording that you can watch on YouTube. Let's jump into this Simply Happy guest conversation. Today on Simply Happy Conversations, I'm talking with Kathrin from Little Renters, a sustainable children's clothing rental business. She'll be sharing some tips around circular fashion and also creating a sustainable wardrobe for your kids. Welcome, Kathrin.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Nora.
Oh, no, thank you so much for making the time. I can't wait. I heard you on another podcast and I was like, I need to have her on here talking about children because that is some of my clients. I work with lots of families with kids and see this issue coming up around circular fashion for kids as well. So maybe let's start just to get to know you. If you were a Barbie doll, what would be the two accessories that you would come with?
If I had to cut it to two things, one of the things would be my Thermomix. It has a couple of benefits for me. One, it helps me with mum life because I can cook food very quickly and I can put healthy food on the table for my kids. But then on a sustainability aspect, it allows me to create things from scratch and obviously have less plastic and waste in my house. So I use it in different situations. So, and the other thing would be my dog, because I love walks, whether that's just going to the beach, listening to an interesting podcast, or going on a walk with friends, calling my family overseas. So I quite love that time.
Yeah, beautiful. Whereabouts are you originally from, or where's your family from?
I'm from Germany, so from Europe.
And how long have you lived in Australia for?
We moved to Australia almost 20 years ago. So, yeah, we've been away from Europe for a long time, but we tend to go and visit them once a year.
And what do you love about Australia?
It's very hard to say. It's the most livable cities in the world, whether that's the beaches. I love the people and generally just being welcome, feeling so welcomed in this country as a person from overseas. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. So if you could work with a professional organizer, what would be the area that you'd like support with in your home? And that's the same. Like for me, there'd be something that I'd love someone to help me organize. There's always an area that we struggle with.
I'm a very, both my husband and myself are very clean and like it tidy. So I've done a lot of things, but one thing that I really it keeps creeping up on me is my pantry. I do have a small space. So I've already kind of done the basics of using reusable containers and started labeling, but because it's so small, it's kind of messy and I don't feel I get to everything and I can't see everything when I look in the pantry. So helping me to finding a way to not have several layers and stacked up and just having like a clear view of what you have in the pantry, what is running low, what you need to restock. That would be,
But also being sustainable too. I hear that's the other important part, which makes it a little bit more tricky to make sure that you're just not rushing out and buying plastic containers, which we could solve your problem really easily with.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So pantry would be a huge help.
To have someone else there. So what strengths do you bring to your business? And maybe just share a little bit about Little Renters as well.
So Little Renters is a children's clothing rental business and we provide curated bundles of clothing to parents. They can rent it on a monthly subscription They let me know their kind of clothing preference, their style preferences for their children, and I curate a box of 12 items. And what happens, they pay a monthly fee. If the child grows out of it, or season change, or they just want a wardrobe refresh, they request a swap. And hence it's kind of a revolving wardrobe. It keeps extending, and you have unlimited choices. And when I founded Little Renters, and that's something that kind of brought from my corporate experience, is my attention to detail. And I try to incorporate that in every aspect of the business, whether that is the shopping experience that I want parents to have. We're talking about pre-loved secondhand clothing. So sometimes there's this assumption, or like the belief, oh, it's secondhand, it's maybe not clean, someone wore it, but it's not, because it's still beautiful clothing. So I want the whole shopping experience to feel like it's still kind of, you're getting really beautiful clothing. So when they come to my website, it should feel like this. When I curate the bundles, I tend to put outfits together, things that really match. And I try to, when parents tell me, oh, my child loves dinosaurs and he loves yellow, I try and make sure that the curated bundle includes those things. Then when it comes to packaging, I put emphasis on sustainable packaging, recycled material that I can reuse. And it still looks beautiful packed. And then how I treat the clothing. So when I receive the clothes from parents, I take pride in washing them, making sure all stains are removed. Sometimes I have little repairs that I have to do. So making sure the clothes that I rent out are still in excellent condition. And when you receive them, it looks like some of them are barely worn or brand new.
I love that. And so when you get the clothes, like, where do you store them all? Like, how many clothes are we thinking about?
At the moment, I've stored them in the kids' playroom has been converted to a little warehouse, and I have lots of hangers and storage boxes sorted by sizes and seasons and genders. But eventually, I might have to find a little warehouse to store all of that. But for now, it's kind of a separate room.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so if someone said, oh, look, I really need, say, a little girl, I need lots more leggings, and she doesn't wear dresses, and she actually has lots of T-shirts at the moment, but we need jumpers. Like, is that what you'll also work to that detail?
Yes, I work to that detail, yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. So sometimes people just say, like, just surprise me. I have some dads who I have two girls, and sometimes they like to color match, and I try to find something that they can twinning. But some people are very specific. They want certain brands, they want certain prints and styles, and they might want some warmer clothes or just some pants as well. So I try to accommodate that when I curate the bundle that I send to the parents.
Yeah. And so the people then say, this is what I want, and you send it out, and they keep it for as long as they need it?
Correct. Yes, they keep it as long as they need it. That can be a couple of months until the next growth spurt comes, and then they might say, look, well, like, season has changed, suddenly it's colder, we need to switch from summer to winter clothing, can we have a swap? Sometimes certain brands have smaller size, so they might grow out of, sometimes a child might not like a certain item. I had that situation as well, so they want to just swap out one or two items. That's possible as well.
Oh, that is, so you can send back a couple of them but keep the rest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh, wow, this is down to the absolute detail. Isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time doing that. But I think, again, when parents open the box, they should look at the clothing, and everything matches and is what they're looking for. And so far, everyone loved what they received. So,
yeah, that's amazing. And so what sort of clothes, though? Are there certain brands that you can be...
So, yes, there's a list of accepted brands, and it tends to be the brands that are more sustainable and use more durable material. Because of that, the clothing lasts longer. And I don't know, I've had situations where 5-6 families can use the same item, right? So hence the better the material, the longer the life of the garment is. So there's a list of accepted brands on my website. And yeah.
That's so good. And what about then? So yeah, talk about the actual exchange of money in it, because I could send some clothes to you and you will then, like, you're not buying them off me. I'm like the renter, aren't I?
Well, there's two sides of this business. So one is parents do a clean out closet. So parents who have kids who outgrown their clothing and they want to make sure that the clothes get another life out of it or multiple lives out of it. They send me the clothing. I take them into my inventory and I manage that inventory. And every time this individual item is rented out, they earn a revenue share of the rental. So I know who owns which item, and they can see how long the item has been shared with other families. So you could either earn some money, but then on the flip side, as you said, you could also rent the next size up. So I have parents who have given me their outgrown clothing, but then renting the next sizes up.
That's really
so it's a true circular community, I would say.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the circular fashion. Do you want to talk about circular fashion then?
Yeah. So I guess the circular fashion, or the actual, if we step back, the consumption models that we've been using for the past are very linear, right? You take something, you make something, you use it and wear it, and then you dispose of it. And I think when I read some of those statistics about every second one truckload of clothing is ending up in landfill or being burned, and that fashion, depending on which stats you're looking at, but up to 10% of the world's CO2 emissions come from the textile industry. So they are daunting numbers. And I think that's where the circular fashion movement and circular economies come in to kind of flip that linear model into a circular model. So what that means is looking at materials that are renewable or recycled. So using materials like cotton or hemp that can be renewed, and they have minimal footprint when they're produced. Designing durable items. So I know certain brands, because they have durable materials, they last a lot longer. And then using the clothing for much longer. So whether that is repairing it, taking special care of it, upcycling it, renting it, reselling it, swapping it, just keeping these clothing in circulation for much longer. And then when they're actually end of life, finding ways to actually recycle and repurpose. So there's a lot of companies who've started focusing on that part of recycling the garments and upcycling garments when they're actually end of life. So that's kind of taking the circle of circular fashion.
Yeah. And it is that end of life, isn't it? I don't know if you've seen that apparel here in Australia and how they're doing their bit, which is fantastic.
Well, they are literally 500 meters down the road from me.
Oh, really?
And so when the clothes from Little Renters are truly end of life, that's where I take my clothing.
Oh, that's great. And I've seen it seems to be all around, in particular Victoria, all these companies are recycling their uniforms and their sporting uniforms and stuff, which is great to see, awareness rising around this circular fashion and the things that we can do to support, especially, when you hear of the statistics of all the garments going into landfill.
Yeah.
It's just,
exactly.
Yeah, well, horrifying.
Especially with kids, I guess. I think with adults, sometimes you have, you wear them a lot longer. You're not growing out of them. With kids, sometimes within weeks and months, you might need a new size. Even with my kids who are a little bit older, they're still every season, the pants are too short, or I don't know, sleeves are too short. So you're in this constant cycle. So.
Yes, definitely. I've got a child who's 12 going through sort of puberty, and I was like, he's already grown out of term one's clothes from school uniforms. I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like we're back in, the 2 and 3 year olds when they were just going through clothes so quickly.
Yeah.
So what are your tips then around helping to create a sustainable wardrobe for kids?
So I think as a parent, when looking at what kind of clothing you buy, like what brands, and I definitely learned, like sometimes you're like, okay, it's childcare clothing, you don't want to spend that much money, but when it's about items that you get a wear out of it, being comfortable to spend a little bit more money, but they'll last longer. They might not just last for your first child, but they might last through your second or third, and maybe you can pass it on to a family member or a friend. So I know that if you spend a little bit on the higher end or the good quality brands, when you sell them on marketplaces or on markets, or you get some money back as well. So I think it justifies spending a little bit more, but you also know that they last longer. But then what I've learned, so also the other thing is I have a boy and a girl. Even though there's periods or age groups where it's really hard to buy gender neutral things, but I've started to buy things that I know I can, especially jackets and bigger items, can they rewear it, right? Finding things that you can actually, your children can share it. And then something I learned especially through Little Renters, like how to take care of items, how to refurbish them, make them look nice again, get rid of stains. I'd had to teach myself how to do little repairs, and they're still beautiful, right? So making, and then even finding ways to upcycle some things that maybe you don't like anymore for whatever reason. Maybe you can make something different with it. And then at the end, I think there's a lot of great options now, whether that's for adults or children to resell, or a lot of people do hand-me-downs, passing it to people who will still take another way out of it. And that's what I've been doing. Like I have my son loves certain sports outfits, and I know there's another boy, he's 2 years younger, and he adores every time I give them hand-me-downs, he wears them. And so finding those communities and ways to kind of prolong the life and use of these items. So
yeah, that's a good one. Finding someone who's got kids that a couple of years younger, or 2 sizes smaller, to pass them on to, who probably really appreciate those items being sent to you. I wanted to just jump back. So what's one of your tips around getting rid of stains? Have you got a particular product you use?
No, I have. Sometimes when they're really sometimes I have to go twice or 3 times and really, really clean it. But usually just water, a stain remover. I have a couple of products. I use a zero core laundry detergent because I love the company. It's plastic free, but also it cleans well and it's good for sensitive skin. I love the smell. So then I use the sun sometimes when it's on lighter material and there's marks I can't get out. Like I put the clothing up in the sun. Fresh air makes the smell really stand out. And like just brushing it and then washing it. So kids obviously have a lot. I find little kids, there's a lot of milk stains or breastfeeding stains around here. There's certain areas that always offer food, and then come markers and art and craft stains. So yeah, there's I think in most cases I've been able to have successfully cleaned the stains, but sometimes it takes 2 or 3 goes at it to really, really make it look almost new.
Yeah. I found this new product recently. It's called the Laundry Sneaker, and it has been fantastic. I'm actually really impressed how much that has got out of some of our stains, especially oil stains.
I use it for my sneakers.
Oh, you use it for your
sneakers?
It as well. Yeah. It's great, isn't it? I don't know. Obviously, the internet served that one up to me, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is actually really good, and it's a local brand as well. So, Yeah, I'll definitely put that link in for people who want to try it out and check out what they think of it. So if the listeners wanted to connect with you around like either passing on their clothes or even looking at renting clothes from you, how can they find you?
Well, they can follow us on Instagram. It's little_renters. There's also our website is littlerenters.com. There's an option to sign up to our Little Renters Club or community, and you keep we won't bombard everyone with emails, but there's some useful information about how to be more sustainable. There's also a discount code. And then on the website, you can find any information about selling, so the wardrobe cleanouts, how to rent, but also there's an option for gift cards. So for those people who have older kids or aunties, grandparents, or if you want to gift to a new parent, that's a great way. Instead of just buying one clothing item, why don't you give them 3 months of a wardrobe, which they can choose whenever they're ready and whenever they need the right size. So, yeah.
So what is like for the 12 items? What are people looking at? How much are they looking at?
So the 12 items are $50 a month. That includes unlimited swaps, free shipping. They can cancel anytime. So there's no commitment fee. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is so affordable there's 12 items. That's great. Yeah, and you know that the items are going to last as well. Yes. And you're giving them that attention to detail as well, which I think is beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Kathrin, for your time and for sharing with us. And yes, and I'll definitely put all those links in for everyone to check out Little Renters. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. If you're looking for a safe place to sell or donate your no longer needed items, then come join the Simply Happy organisation Facebook group. You'll also find storage solution ideas, organising hacks and tips, and makeovers to provide accountability and motivation for you to get started in your home. Head to Facebook and join the Simply Happy organisation Facebook group today. I'd like to acknowledge the Waterless people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.